Alright, so when we say terminal point, just to be clear, what does terminal point mean? There's a terminal point and there's an initial point.
Ending point.
Terminal point means ending point, initial point means starting point. The initial point will always be the same. That initial point, if this is our unit circle, the initial point is always here. This is always 0 and 2 pi. Okay. The terminal point is determined by how much you go around the circle. So they told you pi, it would go this far. Pi over 2 would go this far. 3 pi over 2 would go this far, okay? We're going to look at some other common ones that are used all the time, okay? And they relate to 30, 60, 90 triangles and 45, 45, 90 triangles, which you guys have talked about already in geometry. So, these other terminal points are these. I'm going to make you a little chart. It'd be wise to get to know it. Here's the point. So, if you go around 0, that's where you start at 1, 0. We talked about that one already. Pi over 6. You can think of that as being 30 degrees. Okay? That is square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. Pi over 4 is 45 degrees. And that would be square root of 2 over 2 and square root of 2 over 2. Pi over 3 is 60 degrees. And that is 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. And the other ones are the ones that we listed up here. Pi, pi over 2, 3 pi over 2. So, what does this mean? Okay, how do they get this number? So if I did 30 degrees, like I took 30 degrees from here. Let's say this is 30 degrees, so it's pi over 6. This point here is square root of 3 over 2.
What does the T stand for?
1/2. T stands for how far on the outside of the circle did you go. So this is pi over 6 units. Okay, why is that? So if you see that this makes a little triangle here, I'm going to pull this triangle out and show you how this works. Okay? So here's my triangle. Now in my triangle I got a right angle, and I know that the radius right here, which is also the hypotenuse of the triangle, is how much? It's a unit circle. How much is the radius?
90.
We're not talking about angles anymore. How long is the radius? That's what makes a unit circle. 1. So this is going to be 1. Okay? Now, I know that this angle is 30 degrees. So I'm going to write that out here. Does anyone remember the ratio for 30, 60, 90 triangle?
Yes.
What is it?
It's x, 3 root x.
Good.
And 2x.
So x is across from the 30. Root 3x is across from the 60, because if we have 30, then this one has to be 60. And then over here is 2x, right? So, can we solve for x if we know that 2x is supposed to equal 1? Can we solve for x?
Yes.
Okay, so we say 2x equals 1. Then what's x going to be?
1.
X going to be divide by 2, both sides?
Ooh,
1/2. So that means this side is 1/2. Okay? And then we can just tack that 1/2 on the outside here, so it would be 1/2 square root of 3, which equals square root of 3 over 2. Now, if we look at this point, this value is the what value? The x or the y?
X.
And this value up here is what?
Y.
The y. What do you notice about the x value here? Square root of 3 over 2, square root of 3 over 2. What do you notice about the y value here? 1/2, 1/2. So I'm showing you why it works, okay? You should memorize these. 45 is halfway to 90. If we did the same thing with those triangles, we get the same answers using the ratios. Square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. And 60 would be about here. And that's 1/2 square root of 3 over 2.